arigato, Mr. Roboto.
Domo arigato, Geek to me radio, da 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 da. Domo arigato, Geek to me radio, da 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 da.
Welcome, 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 geeks and nerds, girls and boys, to a brand new edition of Geek to Me Radio. Today we'll be talking with actor Chloe Traicos all about her project, Introducing Jodea. Then we'll talk to actor Nora Arnezeder about her new project as well, that Cold Dead Look in Your Eyes. We'll also talk with her about working with Zack Snyder on Netflix's Army of the Dead and more. Stand by.
We're talking TV, comics and movies, and video games. And if you don't know Star Trek from Star Wars, we'll try to explain. There are 12 doctors, 4 Hogwarts houses, 1 ring rules them all. To be the greatest Pokemon master, you must catch them all. You must catch them all. Try to catch them all. Gotta catch them all. Gotta catch them all.
And if you're driving around the greater St. Louis area tonight, hearing us on the Big 550 KTRS, thank you very much for tuning in. For those of you who might be streaming us out there in the world, hello to all of you. And of course, if you're hearing us after the fact in the podcast form on whatever platform you get your podcasts, we appreciate you listening there, and hopefully you have subscribed and have given us a nice 5-star review. That always helps us out. It's something that you can do to kind of boost us in search engine optimization and things like that, so we do appreciate that. Love having live listeners. This is a brand new year. Happy New Year to all of you, by the way. 2022, here we are. This is now marking almost a full year for me here on the Big 550 KTRS with my show, which just started back in March. Before it was obviously online, other radio station, but I'm so glad to be back here on the Big 550. Thank you very much for putting me on the air, Matt Dorsey, and all the people like Josh and Max who've been so supportive of the show over the past year and getting me moved over here to the Big 550. And thank you to all of you who have been listening and tuning in each week. That said, we've got 2 guests and a lot to cover, so we are going to dive right in. Right now we're talking to actor, writer, director Chloe Traicos.
Not a director.
I'm sorry. I thought you were had directed Unforgivable Sin coming up.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was like 5 years ago. Yep. Sorry. No. It's a current film. I'm not a director, so yes.
Gotcha. Okay, so writer and actor, we can safely put those monikers on you.
Oh, thank you.
So it's fascinating, all the work you've done, and obviously the new film, Introducing Jodea, the work you've done in Righteous Gemstones. What an incredible career, and this all comes out of, I was fascinated, from a documentary you did, Stranger My Homeland, which almost got you kicked out of the country and everything else. Talk a little bit about your getting involved in filmmaking.
Oh, sure. Well, it's something I always, wanted to do from the earliest age. I always wanted to make films. I didn't actually go to formal film school or anything. I just went out and did it. So, it was just something I always knew I wanted to do. And so I started, we immigrated to Australia from Zimbabwe, and I, there's very, very little work there for women. So I started, writing my own scripts. And, that's basically how we began.
And it's interesting, too, that you right out the gate, you mentioned that there's so little work like that. We talked to female actors, directors, writers, producers who have wanted work. So they, especially nowadays with technology, they're able to create it because you can shoot films on your iPhone. You can edit stuff on your laptop. It's amazing. So,
for sure.
So that you just knew at an early age that's what you wanted to do, and you went after it, which is the way it should be.
Right. Absolutely. It's just very, I was never an actor who waited for the agent to call, because it's such a cutthroat industry, and it's so, it just doesn't, you can't just wait for it to happen. You have to make it happen.
And with the movie out, Introducing Jodea, people are calling it this year's answer to the rom-com classic Pretty Woman, which is high praise because that's one of my favorite. I'm a sucker for a good rom-com. from anything.
Oh, that's good to hear. Yep.
From Pretty Woman all the way to the Miss Congeniality and things like that. I kind of always enjoyed those. So talk a little bit about this particular role, if you could.
Sure. I mean, well, the role is basically it's a story about a very untalented, unemployed actress. And one day, but she's very determined. And one day, a world famous movie director drives into the back of her car, and she takes the opportunity to say to him, "Put me in your film." I mean, it's a whole lot of other stuff too. I don't want to go into it in too much detail because I want people to see the film. But she ends up auditioning. She's terrible, and his agent makes a bet with him that he can't get a performance out of her. So the movie director decides to take his agent on with the bet, and he coaches her, and he has a week in which to turn her into a star.
And like you said, it's fun. It's a comedy. It's fun, and that's, I think people are so hungry for that after the past year and a half that we've experienced. So this is a very nice movie to see. Just kind of like kick back and have some fun, which is what I always enjoy most about the movies. Is they should be fun.
Right. Absolutely. Yep. I mean, that's the goal. I mean, and it's just like, I think the timing, 'cause this is very good. It's just like, just out of COVID, everyone had a really depressing year. And it's just, one of the, it's like a Cinderella story, but in a reality setting. And it's kind of like, it's just a sort of, happy ending movie, which, I think everybody wants to see.
And we mentioned Pretty Woman, but it's also a little bit of My Fair Lady and a little bit of She's All That. So it's kind of like that glorious convergence of these themes that come up. It's brilliant.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it is. I mean, totally. Yeah, My Fair Lady was the inspiration. It's a modern My Fair Lady. Yep.
And with movies, especially the streaming services, it's great that these films are coming out that might not get as big a budget as, like, obviously we talk about the Marvel films and everything like that. They're out, but these indie films from these companies like this are doing better than a lot of the big budget films because it's word of mouth, it's great acting, it's good stories.
Oh, right. I mean, that's good. I didn't realize some of them were doing better than the big budget. That's very good to hear.
Absolutely. And I love the idea of this character being someone who's not a good actor and they're trying to work, because it's hard, I would think, as an actor such as yourself you have to act, but you have to act like you're acting badly. We see people like Gina Bellman do it in Leverage.
Yeah. That's what everyone asks me, and it's funny. It's like because as I say, when we started rehearsing, John, the director, said to me, "Look, you're acting too well for the acting badly scenes." He said, "You've got to really overdo it," and so I did. I totally completely hammed it up, which is what and I think it works. Even though at first I was like, okay, no, this is just too unbelievably bad, but But yeah, but it's just I think it works, and that's and I mean hopefully people will like it.
And that's not usually a note one wants to get from a director. It's like, act badly, act worse.
Right, yes. So, well, it's kind of, it makes you feel better because you're like, oh, okay, so I'm doing okay, right? I got to be bad now.
So was the way you reacted to that, like you said, overdoing it, hamming it up, was that the answer to acting badly?
I mean, I think so. I mean, I think it was just that was what John's vision of it was, and I think it does really work. It's, I mean, Jodea is a person, she clearly has it in her to act well, but she's been taught badly. And that's what we see here. That's when, this is all her bad acting is just what she had with bad teachers.
And people listening might also know you from The Righteous Gemstones, which I think was just renewed for another season. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yes, it should be. I think they've wrapped shooting for the year. I think it's early next year. Season 2 will be on.
Yeah, January 9th I've got down for the premiere date on that. I think they're going to have 2 episodes back to back, and then they kind of do them once every Sunday from there, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay, great. I didn't know that. I didn't. Okay, that's good to know. Yep.
And with writing everything too, there's a project that's announced. You're the writer on Shylock, and we talked a little bit at the very beginning. We just mentioned Unforgivable Sin, where you're writing and directing and acting. As a person who wants a good part, someone who wants to see these stories told, it's great that you're able to write and then, in the case of Unforgivable Sin, also direct, because we've talked with people before, and it really feels like if you write and direct, you're the one carrying your vision all the way through to the end. I would think that's very daunting and a lot of work, but also at the end, very rewarding.
Yes, I mean, I think so. I directed Unforgivable Sin. I'll be honest, I don't think it was my best work. I want to do some other stuff before I try directing again. But yeah, it's, I definitely, I mean, it was a good experience, but I think, I still have a lot to learn in the way of directing. But yes, it is good. I mean, so now what I like doing, are having a director I can trust, like John, who I know shares my vision, but who knows what he's doing behind the camera, whereas I'm not that skilled yet. So it's just, that's kind of where I'm most comfortable right now.
And some people, I know, love to direct. Some people don't like the directing. They just want to go in, say their lines, be a part of the movie, and not have that extra workload. The writing, some people find more rewarding. Do you have one hat that you feel fits you better than another, or is it just a process of the directing hat will fit you fine once you feel you've had more experience?
Yeah, I think the directing I'll find once I've had more experience. But right now, I love writing and I love acting. Also, director, you kind of have to be the bad guy. I don't want that. I want everyone to like me.
That's a little hard to do. Yeah, if you want everyone to like you, then having to tell people no.
Actors are very insecure. We want everyone to like us. So, directors, you kind of have to say, no, it's not right. You got to do it again. With actors, we just want everyone to, everyone to love us all the time. So yeah, I'm still at that stage. Maybe later on I'll get to the stage where I want to, where I just don't care anymore and I want to I want to direct. But yeah, right now I'm happy acting and writing. Yep.
And when you're writing, are you specifically thinking of parts when you're writing a script, or is it just a story that you're out to write, or is it like you want to tell stories that haven't been told before? What kind of is your creative end game when you're writing something new?
We're going to get that answer from Chloe Traicos right after this quick commercial break. You're listening to Geek to Me Radio on the Big 550 KTRS. Please stand by.
Always looking down at all I see.
Hello, hello, hello. This is Lucy Davis. I play Etta Candy in Wonder Woman, and this is Geek to Me Radio. Come and listen. We're very, very nice.
We are back live tonight with some pre-recorded interviews, but I am here live, and I do appreciate, I always forget the KTRS text lines, 84126. We got a text from John in the 314 area code who says, I'm glad you're back as well, James. Always enjoy hearing your show. I always remember you on Bill Cleveland's trivia show. That was a great show, too. And, John, it really was. I had so much fun doing Bill Cleveland's trivia show with Nikki and all this, doing the dueling fun facts. And stick around, because I might have a blast from the past for you coming up a little bit later this year. So stick around. But, John, thank you for the comment. I appreciate that very much, and I'm glad you're still listening. For those of you who are listening right now, I want to make sure we tell you about our official movie sponsor, Marcus Theaters. MarcusTheaters.com is the website. Head over there. You can click on the locations to find the Marcus Theaters or Movie Tavern location closest to you. Movies now playing. If you have not yet seen Spider-Man No Way Home, you are missing one of the very best, in my humble opinion, not only best Spider-Man films of all time, best comic book films of all time. Brilliant, brilliant movie that. There's also The Kingsman playing. The Kingsman prequel is out right now. Lots of good movies out. Filmed by Denzel Washington, A Journal for Jordan is playing. Go to the website. You can get your tickets in advance for Scream, that's coming back on January 14th. They're rebooting that franchise. And, of course, their Kids Dream Family Film Series, January 14th through March 6th. You can get those for $3 admission, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday matinees for a whole bunch of shows like Baby Boss, Abominable, Spirit, and other ones. You can get those through the website. Make sure you join the Marcus Magic...
Let me try that again. The Magical Marcus Movie Rewards Program, where you get points every time you buy a movie ticket or get a concession that you will then be able to turn into extra times to go see movies, extra concessions for you that next visit. Also, I highly recommend renting a private theater. It's the first of the year. You kind of want to get back in the swing of things. Maybe you want to get some friends together. Renting a private theater from Marcus Theaters and Movie Tavern is a great way to kind of hang out with a bunch of your friends, get out of the house a little bit. If you're sick of streaming stuff on your TV, you can see one of these movies in your own private theater. It's a great chance for you to do that with the upcoming new year. Make it a new year to get out, or a New Year's resolution, I should say, to get out and see some movies. And no better place to do it than Marcus Theaters and Movie Tavern. Once again, the website, marcustheaters.com, for the best movie-going experience in the galaxy. Before we took that last break, we were chatting with actor Chloe Traicos, and actor and writer, and we were talking to her about when she writes these projects, when she came up with, like, Introducing Jodea that we were talking about. What is her end game creatively when writing something new?
It's a very interesting question. For a lot of the projects it is that. Jodea is a story that has been told before, as you can tell in different formats, but I wanted to have a different perspective of it. I wanted something which I pretty much could relate to, which was the film industry. I like, it just depends what inspires me. Usually I'm inspired by things that are happening in real life. And of course, I would like to tell them, but tell them differently. So it's stuff that people haven't seen before, but at the same time, stuff that, people will still like. The tricky thing with having something that's never been done before is, well, how will it go over? But I think that's the question everyone has to ask, and just the risk you have to take.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all art is a risk. So that's you're putting yourself out there, be it acting or writing or directing. That's a risk, and you just hope people will like it. And so far, it seems like with your track record in movies and film and TV and everything, it seems like people do like your work.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice. I mean, I think it goes both ways. I think, nobody likes everything of everyone. It's always the way everyone's always going to find. There are going to be some people who like, some people who don't. I mean, with Jodea, yes, the majority of people I've been very pleased to see have liked it. Even men. I thought it was going to be very female oriented, but the number of guys who've told me that they normally watch, action movies and were pleasantly surprised, that was very nice to hear. Because I was targeting, it was mostly a female audience, but it was good to hear that, it has a place with guys as well.
And maybe just people are a lot like me, where they actually deep down enjoy rom-coms and just don't want to say it out loud until they find one they really like. So,
well, I think my husband could be like you. I've got him to watch rom-coms, and I can tell he's enjoyed them, but he won't admit it.
Right? Yeah. We have to be stoic and manly. That's what we're supposed to do, right?
Yeah. Right. It's good. Yeah. But look, as I said, I think it is. I think it's a story which I'd like to think most people can relate to. The kind of underdog. Getting somewhere and sort of dream coming true thing. Yep.
Yeah, and I think that's the hallmark of a good story, is that no matter the age, gender, sex of a race of a character, we relate to that character's journey, and it's their story. That's, right. I think it's just a human element going all the way back to, when we're sitting around a fire in caves telling stories.
Of course, that's the thing, and the trick is to make them, the character sympathetic, so that people will be rooting for them.
And again, if you're listening right now, Introducing Jodea is going to be on demand as of, I believe, November the 17th? No, 16th.
Yeah.
From Gravitas Ventures.
But you can order it now on iTunes.
Oh, great. Okay. So you'll be able to see it in advance, or you just pre-order it and then it'll become available?
Pre-order it now.
Perfect. People can do that as well. And then, of course, Righteous Gemstones, which has been very well received. And obviously, acting against someone like John Goodman, how did you find that experience?
Well, this time around, I wasn't in any scenes with him. Last time around, yep, I had a few with him. He's a wonderful guy and very courteous and very, very, very lovely person.
Yeah, we always love him. Obviously, he's a St. Louis guy, just like, so the hometown here always roots for John Goodman.
Oh, yeah, he is. He's a phenomenal actor and just a really nice guy. Like, my first day on set, he came over to me and introduced himself and was like, "Hi, I'm John," and just really, really, really good, good top guy.
And going back again to your roots with the documentary you did, Stranger My Homeland, is documentary another thing that you're at all interested in pursuing? Because there's so many causes and so many things that people like to see highlighted. Is that something that you're also...
Yes. With documentaries, I have to be passionate about it. Mm-hmm. So I have ideas for a few documentaries I want to make down the line. But it's not something I'm not a documentary filmmaker. It's not something I define myself as. Sure. But I just want to. But it is something which there are projects, that I know that I do. There are stories that I do want to get made, and that I've kind of they're in my notebook on my long list of movies to make. But so no, I do. I definitely do want to make documentaries in the future.
And obviously,
but it's just
obviously completely different writing skill set for the brain and everything else, because obviously if you're doing writing a movie or a television series or something like that, you can play with characters, put them in weird settings. Documentary is obviously very grounded. So is it, I guess it would work different muscles of your brain writing out and creating a documentary film, obviously.
Right. Well, when I did my one, which was my first film, it was very, I got the stories of all the people, which were fascinating. And then once I had all the stories, I had to work out how to put them together. And then, of course, we had so many people, I had to cut a few. And then once we worked out, okay, this is the line we're going to take with it. Then it was just a case, working out reenactments and things like that. So, yeah, it is a totally different style.
And obviously, with it being, that particular subject matter and everything like that, did you have any idea that there would be, you'd have to leave your home as a result of all this? Was that even?
Well, I actually had already left. It was we left already. I can't go back though.
Okay.
So that's the difference. But yeah, and a lot of the people interviewed were in the same situation as me. They can't go back either. So it's just very, So no, I did do it from the safe place. I didn't do it from there. I wouldn't have dared do it from Zimbabwe because I would have gone to jail. At best.
Yikes.
So it's just very, so that was my, as I said, that was my first project. I made that in Australia. The people I interviewed were all refugees who made it to Australia, and some were some did the interviews long distance from England. And it was I did really enjoy that experience.
And what a way for your first film. I mean, what a powerful impact. It's coming out of the gate just like that. And then going on to all the other projects you've done. It's got to be a surreal feeling when you look back on everything. No, thank you. I mean, actually, when I talk about directing, I did actually like what I did with that documentary, and it was good. It was a lot of fun making. It was a very, very moving journey, learning about these people and what they'd gone through. That was, as I said, it was a good experience. And I guess directing that, too, it's an actual documentary grounded in fact. You didn't have to worry about hurting anyone's feelings or hurting actors' feelings. Because it wasn't like I was trying to say, hey, you got to I actually got a friend to direct the reenactments. Who's the director, and she took care of and it was quite amazing. These people who were refugees were reenacting some of the horrible things that happened to them, which was very brave, and they actually did an incredible job. But it was definitely easier to be a documentary. I mean, the thing I found tricky with the documentary directing is that one thing I noticed is that people, once they realize the camera's on, suddenly stiffen up. And they come all stilted and they don't talk naturally. So what we ended up doing with a lot of the people speaking to was we told them, well, look, we're not recording now, when we were recording. So we'd get them to tell the story really naturally. And that was the trick I learned with the documentary filmmaking, which is how they could be so natural one minute and the next minute, the minute they realize they're being filmed, just completely ill at ease. Right. Yeah, that makes sense. I can see where that would be the case, especially if they're new to being filmed, if they're not used to a camera, if they're not like a professional actor or anything like that. That would, I guess, cause one to be a little tense. Right. Yeah. And we talked about Shylock, writing on that one, the screenplay and everything like that. And obviously you wrote the story for Introducing Jodea. what else are you working on? Are you one of those people who kind of focuses on one or two projects at a time, or do you kind of have multiple irons in the fire?
I have multiple fires. Yes, it just, you kind of have to. It's just this industry is just, there's so much happening, and it's a case of so I have several on the go at the moment, and it's just a case of whichever one gets snapped up first. Yeah. It's so and that's kind of where you have to be when you're in this business going out there.
And of course, it forces you to be part salesman too if you're writing and pitching your stuff and everything like that.
Yes.
So that's got to be a little odd to, obviously, as an actor, you want people to like you, but then you have to be your own advocate and push these products out. So that's an interesting spot in which to be as well, I would think.
Right. Yeah, no, it is. I mean, and to be honest, the putting yourself out is the part I'm probably worst at. I like the creative part.
Yeah.
So that's the part I struggle with, but you kind of just have to.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if it's something you really believe in and you're passionate about, like one of these scripts you're working on, or be it a documentary or things like that. That's kind of, if you don't speak up about it, no one else will.
Exactly. Very true.
And
it's true. You kind of have to help yourself.
With all the different elements of what you've done, when you look back, what is the thing you like best? I'm going to say with air quotes, your job, because your job obviously entails multiple facets. When you're sitting there and you're reflecting back, what is the thing you like best about your job? There's so many things. I love writing. I love getting lost in the world of a script. I love, and I love being on set. I think the thing I love best is seeing your own story come to life and seeing actors, bring the characters to life. I think that's probably the best. And with writing these and then also acting in them, do you have any input or say in the casting as well, or is that handled by someone completely different so that you're not involved?
I'm always a producer as well. Okay. So I always will I will always take a have a say.
Gotcha. Well, that helps too, to make sure that your vision is, again, fully realized as the way you want it to be.
Right. Exactly. Yep. Yep.
And again, with Righteous Gemstones coming back in January on HBO Max, and of course, Introducing Jodea available on demand November 16th, and you can pre-order it on iTunes as well to make sure you have it in your queue ready to go. What else can we expect to see you in? What are you working on other than we mentioned Shylock? Is there anything else that you've got that you want to tell people about?
There's a lot of things. I don't really like talking about things till they happen.
Sure, no, I get that.
But it's look, there's a lot of stuff, and that is going to happen hopefully very soon. Yep.
Very nice. And where can people find you if they want to keep up with you? Social media handles, websites, things like that?
Sure. I'm on Instagram, which is hold on. I think it's Chloe Traicos _ on Instagram. And I'm also on Facebook, Chloe Traicos. And yep.
Perfect. We'll put a link both to the pre-order on iTunes for Introducing Jodea, and we'll put a link to the Instagram handle as well so people can keep up with you. This has been great to talk to you. Continued success to you. I've no doubt we'll see many more great things coming your way, and we'd love to have you back on the show when you do feel comfortable talking about those things.
Thank you. Oh, no, that's wonderful. No, I'm just superstitious. I just always think that, if you talk about something, something will happen, so it won't happen. So I just kind of I just let my projects happen, and then I'll talk about the current ones.
That's perfect. That makes total sense, because I'm kind of the same way. If I have something, I'm like, until it's locked in, I don't want to say anything and to jinx it or anything.
Right.
I'm the same way.
Exactly. It's awesome. No, look, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Thank you so much for the interview. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it very much, and we'll look forward to keeping up with you in the future. And like I said, happy to have you back on anytime. And with that, we have gone through my first guest. We're going to take another quick commercial break. We'll come right back and chat with actor Nora Arnezeder about her projects, a few other things she's done, and more. Stand by.
Hi, this is Venus Sunwell talking about Lost in Space Season 3, which is now streaming, and you're listening to Geek to Me Radio.
And we're back. Geek to Me Radio, brought to you every week here on the Big 550 KTRS Sunday nights at 9 o'clock. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm your host, James Enstall. And, of course, if you missed our interview with Mina Sunwal from Lost in Space, you can always go to geektomeradio.com and check out our back catalog of all of our shows you may have missed. A lot of great creators, composers, actors, writers, musicians. I try to run the whole gamut of pop culture. So if this is your first time tuning in, go back to geektomeradio.com, check out our back catalog. We've got a lot of great interviews with a lot of very creative people throughout the pop culture realm, and hopefully you'll like what we have coming up for you in store here in 2022 as well. Speaking of what's in store for you in 2022, I want to make sure we mention our comic book sponsor, Bugs Comics and Games. If you are a comic book collector, you may want to take a jaunt out to O'Fallon, Bugs Comics and Games on Bryan Road. And if you are wanting to get into comics, if you're a longtime collector wanting to kind of browse and maybe see what they have that you might want to add to your collection, or if you maybe want to sell your collection, Bugs Comics and Games is the ideal place no matter what you find yourself in one of those situations. Join their Avengers Discount Club. It's a club that Bugs Comics created for pull and hold customers and pre-order customers. You get a discount on new comics, back issues, toys, merchandise, supplies. The more you spend each month, the more discount you'll get the following month. And it's a great way to save some money on your books as you continue to grow your collection. And he is buying. He and Tim took in a big collection. I was there Wednesday for New Comic Book Day, and they were unloading a collection they just bought with a bunch of new stuff. So if you go 1 week, they don't have what you're looking for, check back with them because they're constantly rotating new stock. And once again, that Avengers Discount Club would be mighty handy if you decide to go ahead and purchase some of their existing stock as well. Very, very helpful people. And, of course, check out the Facebook page. You can like the page so that way you're always informed if they're doing a sale like they did over the Christmas time or whatever else. Bugs Comics and Games on Facebook. Make sure to check out the website as well, bugscomicsandgames.com. Very proud to have them as the official comic book sponsor for Geek to Me Radio. We have another guest, another actor, a lot of cool projects that are going on right now. And this next guest I was particularly excited to chat with. Right now we're talking to actor Nora Arnezeder about her movie, That Cold, Dead Look in Your Eyes. I love this movie. It's got the feel of a foreign film, but it's got that thriller. It's got a psychological Alfred Hitchcock aspect to it. It must have been so much fun to make this movie.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. The director, Onur Otukel, is such an artist, such an inspiring artist. And, making the movie with him was, my little nephew. Yeah, he wants to watch cartoons. So
who doesn't? That's
it was a lot of fun making this movie, with Onur, who's a completely crazy artist in the best sense of the term. He's he loves to try things out. He loves cinema. And also what was really crazy is that 2 days before shooting it, he told me that we would shoot the movie in French. And so I asked him, do you speak French? And he said, I don't, but you do. So let's do it. And so I was like, oh, wow, you must be a genius or completely crazy in order to make that decision. And so, he has this charm. There's a lot of charm about him and passion, and his passion is truly contagious.
And that's why I mentioned it feels like a foreign film, because you'll get the subtitles, which I love foreign films, so the subtitles never bother me at all. It's almost like I'm just used to them, and it comes off with that sophistication of a foreign film, but then it kind of pivots suddenly, and it's that kind of psychological jerk that the main character is kind of experiencing during the hallucinations he's having, and it makes for almost, like I said, an Alfred Hitchcock type of vibe to the movie at the same time. It's brilliant.
Oh, yeah, that's a good reference, actually, and also a little bit of Woody Allen.
Yes.
And a lot of Onur Otukel, which he has really his own style, which is great.
And we actually had Max Casella on the show last week talking about him, and he's worked with Ono before and said just what a genius he is. So it's got to be great when you're put in the hands of somebody who is a master craftsman, who knows what they're doing, knows the vision they want for the film. That's got to make your job as an actor so much easier.
Yeah, Yeah, sorry, I have my dog now, like, barking. Crazy family. Yeah, what was great is that also Onu really let us improvise and try things out and take risks as actors. And so we were like a team exploring the scenes. And Onu is so crazy that, like, being crazy wasn't something so bad, which was great. Being able to be crazy and explore the scenes in a crazy way is without rules, but also, of course, there's a structure. But yeah, so what was funny is that, of course, like, be crazy because the director is, crazy in a beautiful way, in an artistic way. And so we got to explore the scenes all together, and the scenes in French, and sometimes he could not understand what we were saying in French. And what's interesting is also to be able to it's not this Onur really felt the intention.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than focus, he was not focusing on the words because he didn't speak the language, but he focused on the essence of our characters and the intentions, and he could really feel when we were good. He was really able to direct us, even though he wasn't speaking the language.
That's bold for a director to do that, because normally the director would want to kind of focus to make sure the story is being put out, which obviously the words that are being said. But it also, I think, that's a huge credit to you and the other actors you're emoting properly, your body language. It's all, verbal communication. I should say most communication is 80% nonverbal anyway. So the fact that he knew what he wanted you to do, gave you the breath and the room to do it, and just trusted you, like, the words might not be exactly, but you're getting the feeling I want to. That's a very bold thing to do for a director.
That's exactly it. Yeah, and also sometimes we were doing the scenes and he was like, because we were basically translating from English to French what Onu wanted us to say. And sometimes he would go like, hey, are you guys saying like the dialogue? Are you guys? So he was like really worried that we wouldn't like say the dialogue. Sometimes we would scare him and go like, no, actually, we just created like a whole new different story. Sorry, Onur.
Yeah, we didn't like any of that dialogue. We changed it.
We definitely should make a movie about Onur Tukel directing a movie in French.
The making of this movie on the cutaways from the Blu-ray will be tremendous, I'm sure.
Exactly.
And again, we should mention, if you're listening right now, it's available on demand as of November the 9th, so you can catch it now if you want to go back and look at this film. It's really worth the watch. I highly recommend it. And we talked to Max Casella, said he had a great time doing this as well. He speaks no French. Then we have Nora, who speaks French and was able to give Onu a heart attack during part of the filming process, evidently. So it'll be a fun film for people to watch for sure.
Yeah. Definitely.
And this is what you went to school for. You were not someone who kind of fell into acting. You went and studied acting and dancing and singing like that, so that you kind of knew from an early age that this is kind of what you wanted your life to be, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, I wanted to be a therapist.
Okay.
But I was really bad at school, so I quit school. I had ADD and I was, in my dreams and I always loved movies and I always loved music, and I wanted to be a singer, from the age of, 10 to 18. And, one day a friend of mine asked me if I wanted to audition for this TV show, and I told her that I was not an actress, and she said, but just try it out and you'll see what happens. And you know why? I booked it, and I started making a living through acting, and I was like, oh, okay, so that could be a job for me. And so I started working as an actress, and so that's how it started.
And you got to do some singing, too. Paris 36, you won a Lumiere Award for that, an Etoile d'Or Award, and also the main song from that was, I think, nominated for Best Original Song for one of the 82nd Academy Awards or something like that. And you got to sing that song, so you kind of got to fulfill that singing side of you as well. That had to be such a cool feeling to be in that film, be able to sing and act, and then get nominated and then win the awards you won, too. That had to be such an early on in your career, too. That had to be amazing.
So I have to say that I was too young to really get excited. You know what I mean? I was excited, but I didn't really know what it meant.
Okay.
And I now that I realize that one of the songs that I sing got nominated in the Academy Awards, like now that at the age of 32, now I really understand what it is. But at the time I was really young. I was 16, it was my first movie. So my first feature was Paris 36. And, it gave me other opportunities to be in other movies. But I really didn't know what it meant. Because now I know what work is. Before I have to say that it was luck. Now I know that if I get something that I really want, or it's work. It's no luck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, so young in your career still, and you've worked with such powerhouses from Denzel Washington, Ryan Reynolds, Bradley Cooper, and recently in Army of the Dead, phenomenal movie. You got to work under Zack Snyder and with Dave Bautista, Tig Notaro, Theo Rossi, such an amazing cast from that. It's again, you're so early in your career still. It's amazing that you've gotten all these great roles, and it is obviously, like you said, part of it is surely it's luck early on, but now you kind of know the business. You're creating and working hard on these things. That's got to be a very rewarding feeling, knowing that you put in the work and you're getting to work with all these great people and these great projects. Yeah,
that's exactly it. When I decided that acting was going to be my job. It took me some time. In the beginning of my career, I just saw acting as, making a living, and I didn't know what else I would do if I was not going to act. I didn't know what I would do. But then I realized at the age of 22 that if I wanted to pursue acting, I had to work hard, and not only, work hard on the parts that I was being given, but work every day, drill every day. It's like being an actor is like being an instrument. So every day I worked on my English. I watched a lot of movies. I educated myself, and, I finally took it seriously. So when I get to work with these amazing people now, and I'm so grateful for all these great opportunity. I know that all the hard work pays off, and as I said, it's having one big movie when you start off is luck, and having all these great opportunity after in this second part of your career is hard work. Yeah, if that makes sense.
It does. And talking a little bit about Army of the Dead, which had huge numbers on Netflix. I think it was like 75 million people viewed it. It did really well for them. It's going to probably spawn a couple of spin-offs and everything. Zack Snyder, one of the highest regarded director-writers in the business. Talk a little bit about working with Zack. This was your first project with him. How did you find working under him and doing this project, Army of the Dead?
And we're going to come right back. Continue our chat with Nora Arnezeder, her talking about working with Zack Snyder. You're listening to Geek to Me Radio on the Big 550 KTRS. Please stand by.
Hi, this is Nichelle Nichols, and you're listening to Geek to Me Radio.
Welcome back.
Geek to Me Radio here on the Big 550 KTRS. I'm your host, James Enstall. I want to make sure we tell you about our premier sponsor, the people with whom this show would not be on the air right now, the fine folks at the Greater St. Charles Convention and Visitors Bureau. You know them from the website discoverstcharles.com. Christmas traditions is over, but there's still a lot going on in St. Charles. A lot happening, a lot of events. You can start by going to the website to plan your trip, whether you're here locally or from out of town. That's discoverstcharles.com. Right there at the top, you request a free copy of their Historic St. Charles Guide, so you can get your visitor magazine to plan your trip, see all the things there are to see and do. So if you're coming from out of town, find a place to stay, kind of stake out. We want to make sure we go here. We want to make sure we see this. We want to make sure we have dinner at Tompkins' house, everything like that. And if you're right across the river, if you're in St. Louis, or maybe you just haven't been down to Main Street in a while, go check it out. A lot to be done, a lot to see, a lot happening always, and it's a great place to visit. Plan your trip now. Once again, the website discoverstcharles.com. As we always say, it's an historically good time. Before we took that last break, we were talking with actor Nora Arnezeder about working with Zack Snyder on Army of the Dead.
Yeah, so I auditioned for the part. I was in LA. I had my boyfriend that day. He helped me with the audition. He filmed me with his iPhone. And I remember I had a very, very physical scene, so I was crawling on the floor. And it was a very quick scene, maybe like half of a page. And I did it, and then I forgot about it, and I didn't hear anything. So I just let go, and I kept on, focusing on other stuff. And then 6 months later, or maybe it was less than 6 months, maybe 4, I was in New York, and my agent called me and asked me and told me that I got offered the part of Lily in the Zack Snyder's movie. And I was like, oh wow, what's the Zack Snyder movie again? Because I completely,
that long ago, yeah.
That's so many auditions. And so I checked through my emails. I went through my emails and I saw the project, and I was like, wow, that's so cool. And we shot in Albuquerque for 4 months. It was great. And Zack Snyder is a very collaborative director, but he gives you a lot of freedom. He lets you explore what you need to explore. What I love about Zack is that I really have the sensation that you never fail with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can try anything. You can take risks. He never make you feel that, the decision you're making is the wrong decision or a bad decision. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of fun working like that.
When you're auditioning for things, or when you are looking at scripts as an actor, and you even said, this is hard work. Obviously, you put a lot of research and effort into it. What draws you to a part? Like if you're reading some scripts and like, I really want this part. What as an actor kind of excites you?
Well, a lot of different things. First, you need a good script, a good director. That's, mm-hmm. To me, it's the number one thing. Mm-hmm. And then once you have a good script and a good director, for example, I shot a TV show called The Offer, and I played this woman who was Jewish and hidden during the Second World War. Her name was Françoise Glazer, and she's an actual real. I mean, it's a woman who she existed. This woman, and she ran the Chateau Marmont in Los Angeles, and exploring her life and imagining her life, what it was being hidden during the Second World War. I met this amazing woman who lived the same story as my character, and I got to, hear like heartbreaking stories, but also inspiring stories. And the best thing about acting is to explore new roles and new lives, and hear all these inspiring and heartbreaking stories is very fulfilling for the soul.
I'm sure. And it's obviously quite a bit different playing an actual living character who this is a person that existed versus playing, Lily, for example, in Army of the Dead, or playing Celia in Words. There's, I guess, like you said, we were able to talk to this other person who kind of lived that same life. There's a little more research going into playing an actual living historical person. Is that more of a challenge, more an exciting thing for you as an actor, or do you kind of like being able to create the character in a brand new world?
Yeah, even if you play a real person, you're never going to get exactly what that real, like, you cannot copy what that real person was like, because that's not you. But I really believe the universe and the energy, and there's a reason why I've been offered the role of Françoise Glazer, and I think the answers will come through me naturally. I don't want to force it. So of course I made my research, but there was not a lot of stuff about her on the internet, so I had to create a world for her. And so, yeah, it was a real person, but I also had to create a character.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it kind of joins that, the kind of the merging of the two worlds, the creative and the real, the grounded reality of this person. That's one you're filming that currently. Are there other things you're working on right now that you can talk a little bit about, or is everything kind of is you just kind of take one project at a time as they come, or you kind of always are you a person who likes to keep a lot of irons in the fire?
Well, I just shot a movie. So my friend Salim Keshiush shot his first feature, and I met him on a movie 12 years ago. It was Alexandre Arcadi, he's a French director, movie called What the Days Owes the Night. And at the time we were like pretty young, and 12 years later he's like, hey, I'm going to direct my feature. Would you want to be in it? And I'm like, yeah.
Wow.
And that's pretty amazing to meet people and in specific projects, and you see them grow, and you meet them again and other projects. And for that particular one, it was his baby, which was really moving. So I don't know if I can tell too much. Like, I don't want to reveal the story too much, because sure. I don't know if I'm allowed to.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
But that was really, really fun to work with him. And also work in France, because I've been working a lot in America lately, and so working in France, with my mother tongue was really cool.
Is it vastly different working on a production in America versus France, other than obviously there's cultural differences, language, and everything like that? But is the production, like the business aspect of it, I guess I want to say, more or less the same, or is it kind of a different feel?
In France, you get to have a lot of friends, and they put you like it's like a, I don't want to say it's a mafia, but it's like in America, you audition, you book stuff, and you have agents, you have managers. I mean, we do have agents in France, but we don't really have managers in France, and it's in France, you work with your friends, and it's a very different business. I don't know if I'm being clear right now, but
yeah, I get it. That's kind of what I was wondering, how the business aspect of it, if it's vastly different or not, because we talk to people who do most of their work here in America, and there's the agents and the managers and the talent and the auditions and everything. I just was curious if it's vastly different, or if it's pretty similar and comparable doing it in France.
It's not that different. It's not that different, but there's definitely, yeah. I mean, there's more projects. Definitely more projects in America. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, the passion is the same. The genre is maybe slightly different. Although like you have like a beautiful like cinéma vérité in France, and which you also have in America,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's maybe the industry is slightly different.
Yeah, it makes sense. And again, if you're listening, you can check out that Cold Dead Look in Your Eyes video on demand. It was out as of November the 9th, and you should hit this one up. It's a great film. Like I said, it's very psychological thriller type. It's a lot of fun, and it's got the sophistication of a foreign film, that kind of psychological twist of a thriller. So it's something I think a lot of people are going to enjoy watching. I think it's going to appeal to a broad audience as well. And we had Max Casella on as well talking about that earlier. Tell people, if they want to keep up with you, where they can find you. Are you active on social media? Is there a website people can kind of keep up with your work and things like that?
Yeah, I'm actually, I am on social media. I've been on social media for a year or so, under my name, so Nora Arnezeder. And, you know, I'm about to release some music that I've been working on for some time.
Oh, cool.
So I'm very excited about that project. And that they can check my upcoming projects and yeah.
Very cool. This has been such a great time to talk to you. Again, that Cold Dead Look in Your Eyes, make sure you check it out, starring Nora Arnezeder and that, and of course, watch The Offer, which is currently filming. That's an exciting project as well. Nora, merci beaucoup pour votre temps aujourd'hui.
Merci beaucoup, mon ami. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll talk to you soon. And that's going to do it. Another show in the books. Thank you, as always, to Joey V, my executive producer, for making the show sound as good as it does every week. Thank you to all of you who listen. And make sure you stick around. Max on Movies is up next. He's going to have his December movie wrap-up, talking about his reviews of Sing 2, 8-Bit Christmas, The Lost Daughter, and Nightmare Alley. So make sure you stay tuned right now. Max on Movies is up next. Thanks, of course, to my guests, Chloe Traicos and Nora Arnezeder. Make sure you check out those projects, Introducing Jodea, and, of course, her project from Nora Arnezeder, that Cold Dead Look in Your Eyes. Until next week, my friends.
It's not in the way you watch The Flash. It's not in the way you love Scotty Young art. It's not in the way you play Mario Kart. It's not in the way you look when you make Game of Thrones references. That's our show. This is Geek to Me Radio. That's our show.
Vegas, good night.
Hey kids, are your parents about to buy you a shiny new toy from Amazon?
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Well, don't be selfish. Share some of that money with us. Before going on Amazon, make sure to type in bit.ly/geek2me in the web browser. It will look just like Amazon.com, except it'll say referral Geek to Me Radio up top. And then when you check out, a tiny percentage will go to support the show without costing you 1 cent more. So before your parents get you that gizmo, gadget, or widget, make sure they type in bit.ly/geek2me in the web browser.
bit.ly/geek2me. bit.ly/geek2me.